If you don't want to lose 50% of your assets over the next 10 years, you're going to want to pay attention to this video all the way to the end. The global population is aging more rapidly than ever, and life expectancy continues to increase. From now until 2030, 10,000 baby boomers will turn 65 years old every single day, and 7 out of 10 everyday people will need long-term care at some point in their lives. In fact, this year in 2024, 4.1 million baby boomers will be turning 65 years old. On that note, a 65-year-old couple will need $395,000 in combined savings to afford the cost of certain Medicare plans in retirement. This is, of course, according to the Milliman Group. That fact is $100,000 more than it was 4 years ago in 2020. As a matter of fact, Genworth, a long-term care insurance company, reports that median cost for a private room in a nursing home in 2024 is $163,000 per year. This is about $60,000 more than it was in 2020. Yes, inflation is getting us right now. Medicare doesn't even cover all healthcare expenses, and Social Security has stated that benefits will only be fully payable until 2037, after which the trust fund reserves are projected to be exhausted. So with all that explained, many of you listening to this video are saying to yourself, Manny, I have money saved in the stock market. I'll just pay for it myself. No problem. In this video, I'm going to explain what most money managers, stock investors, and financial advisors know about something called the lost decade. A lost decade refers to a 10-year period during which investments in a major stock market index, such as the S&P 500, produce a flat or negative return. What is the S&P 500, you might ask? I'm sure that lots of you that are listening to this video have already heard of something called the Magnificent Seven. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Facebook, otherwise known as Meta. Platforms like Tesla, Nvidia, those are all within the Standard & Poor's 500, the S&P 500. So other companies, for example, like McDonald's or Caterpillar, Nike, huge companies that you've heard of before, are all a part of the Standard & Poor's 500. Let's talk about one of these lost decades between the years 1964 and 1974. So during this 10-year period, there was stagnant growth due to inflation eroding much of the gains that a lot of people were picking up previous to that. Also, there was a huge oil crisis in 1973. The Arab oil embargo in 1973 caused oil prices to quadruple, creating an energy crisis that fueled inflation and economic recession, severely impacting the stock market performance, of course. And then lastly, I don't know if you remember this or not, some of you seniors, the end of the gold standard in 1971, where President Nixon ended the Bretton Woods Agreement. This led to the devaluation of the US dollar and contributing to inflationary pressures and economic uncertainty. How about another lost decade between the years 2000 and 2013. This was just roughly more than 10 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. The dot-com bubble burst back in the early 2000s, saw the collapse of the dot-com bubble, resulting in significant stock market losses as technology companies overinflated valuations plummeted. I don't know if you remember that or not, but you lost almost 30% of what you had during a 2-year period. Pretty wild. September 11 attacks. We all remember 9/11. The terrorist attacks on September 11 caused a sharp market downturn and increased economic certainty, further hampering recovery from the dot-com crash. And then, of course, you cannot forget the second largest stock crash in American history, which was the 2008 financial crisis. The global financial crisis of 2008, triggered by the collapse of the housing market and major financial institutions, led to severe economic recession and substantial declines in the stock market values. I had some people on video talking about their 401k was now 201k. It's my opinion that this Standard & Poor's 500 will go through another lost decade. With stock market valuations through the roof, unemployment fairly low but starting to taper up, interest rates sky high, and the uncertainty of people just completely on the rise. I don't know if you know this or not, but housing values are larger than they've ever been in American history right now. Our paychecks just have not caught up to those valuations. If you've been taking notes thus far, and you're thinking to yourself, okay, all of these things make sense, Manny. What is the natural action step? Let's go back to this S&P 500 graph right here. This is the dot-com bubble I spoke about. What goes up had to come crashing down. This is the real estate bubble we spoke about. What goes up had to come crashing down. From the year 2000 through 2013, there was a zero net return outside of dividends. As you can see, this right here is the COVID shutdown. Naturally, our American government had to print off money, which caused two things: spending more and saving more. So the market inflated even more with all of the money running to Apple, Amazon, all of the big guys. Now you see another bubble brewing that I'm calling the COVID bubble. Now, there's a couple different immediate action steps you can take. Number one, if you have current 401ks or current asset allocations, you can, of course, speak with a local HR director or get help with reallocating your funds. If you don't have a current financial strategist, feel free to reach out to us here at the Financial Architects. If you're saying to yourself, all of these facts and figures make complete sense, you're going to want to get in contact with a financial strategist, preferably a financial architect in a city near you. We educate our advisors on a lot of these different subject matters. A couple different immediate specifics that you might want to take action on are if you have an old IRA, old 401k, or if you went through a recent divorce, or you're thinking to yourself, man, where should I roll my old 401k or old IRA into something that may be safer? You can definitely get in contact with us and we'll help you out with those questions and answers. If you're thinking to yourself, man, based on all of these facts and figures, I think taxes are rising as well. In another video of ours, we do have a specific breakdown of how taxes are definitely going to rise in the future. Think about it for a second. You got baby boomers that are all going to retire. You have Social Security that's in the dumps. You have our healthcare system that is through the roof. And you have our U.S. debt that has never been so high. Of course, taxes are forced to rise. Whether it's a little bit or a lot, who knows? But I do think it makes sense to get in contact with an advisor that can point you in the right direction. We'd love an opportunity to earn your business. Thank you.